What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Addison Gaming Podcast, the show where we talk about the games we want to whenever they came out, because that's what we're playing. We talk old stuff, we talk new stuff, we talk everything in between. I am your host, WckdGmrUK Allen, but on this episode, you can call me the Great Fairy of Hyrule. Because, I'm like a great fairy.
Did you expect me to laugh a little more for that one?
I laughed. I tickled myself with that one. I loved it. And as always, those are the dulcet tones of the most amazing co-host in the world, Mike Malldee, a.k.a. the Queen of Hyrule that no one's ever met. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, where is she?
You are the Queen of Hyrule.
Oh, that's why I'm hidden.
Yes.
I'm in the code.
Where have you been? You have left Zelda there lying in state. You abandon her and her trials and tribulations, dear Queen of Hyrule.
Stop getting in a mess. Gosh. Anyway,
she is a messy.
I've been good.
Are you doing good, Mike? You're traveling at the moment, aren't you?
I am. I'm in Chicago.
Nice.
I am super excited for the lack of announcement of 40th anniversary of Zelda.
It's a real slap in the face for it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. What's that about, Nintendo?
I think it's just because Pokemon's also celebrating.
Right.
Not really a milestone. I mean, it is a milestone, but not as big as a 40th milestone. And they just Pokemon makes more money than Zelda. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, definitely it makes more money than Zelda. It's like the largest entertainment franchise or property or something on the planet or something like that. It's stupid. But it is pretty strange. I mean, I know they're sort of still wrapping up the 40th anniversary for Mario. But the fact that there was no tweet, no whatever about anything, nothing even on the Nintendo app itself, it just seems a little bit like.
I feel like it's going to be it's going to be a surprise then, because there's going to be something. And normally what I've read was Zelda announcements normally happen in the summer of the 40th or of the year or whatever. Yeah. We'll see. But it's also my 40th. So Zelda and I are celebrating together as a family.
Love that.
So there's that.
That's really cool. And my claim to fame in the similar way is that I share a birthday with the company of Nintendo. Like the company of Nintendo was started on the same day that I was born, but 100 years before or something.
Oh my God, 100 years.
I know. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
Yeah. So no announcement on the 40th, but dear listeners and viewers and subscribers, we are going to celebrate Zelda's 40th anniversary throughout this whole year. So what are we going to be doing, Mike, over this year? Tell the listeners what we're going to be doing as we celebrate the 40th anniversary.
I'm hoping to be. Our original plan was the plan is we're playing every single Zelda game, mainline Zelda game.
Yeah.
From the order it was released.
Mm-hmm.
So starting from Zelda 1, the NES, and then Zelda 2, Adventures of Link, and then Link to the Past, and so on and so forth. And we're playing each and every single one. And my goal is to play it on the original hardware, as close to the original hardware as I can, since I no longer have the original Nintendo. But I have something similar that I can, play it on. And definitely we'll play the DS games on the DS and the 3DS games on the 3DS. And the GameCube game I'm playing on the Wii. So that counts, though, because I have the GameCube controller. So it's still original-ish hardware. And yeah, so that's my goal. But we're going to be celebrating by playing every game that's in the order it was released.
Nice. And then we'll do special episodes like this throughout the year where we share our thoughts on playthrough. We just do a deep dive review on all of them. So yeah, listeners, subscribers out there, play along with us. Do you have the stupidity like we have to try and play all of these games within a year to celebrate?
I think we'll get them done before a year.
I think
because you've already gotten 2 of them done, right?
I'm already halfway through Link to the Past. So
there you go.
Yeah. But don't once you get past from A Link to the Past, it actually gets longer and longer. So they get bigger and longer and all that kind of stuff. But I think we can do it. But there's just also so many fun games coming out this year. But yeah, what a fun thing to do.
It is.
So before we get into our thoughts on our playthrough of the original NES game, Mike, let's just do a little bit of reminiscing about Zelda and its importance into the gaming industry and all that stuff, and us as gamers. So what was the first Zelda that you remember playing?
Well,
It
the original Zelda is the very
Yeah.
first Zelda. Actually, I think it's the very first game I've ever played. Uh,
It was the very
with
first game you ever played?
Other than Mario, well, maybe the Mario 2, Super Mario Brothers 2, or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we owned that, and we owned Zelda, and we owned all the other like real like the main ones. The Punch Was there a Punch one for Nintendo and a Punch Out? I think it's
Oh, yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it was. We owned
yeah.
all those games, right? So,
Mhm,
and I remember
mhm.
seeing the gold one, this premium product, and
Yes.
I'm like
Yeah.
4 or 5 years old, and I put it in, and I'm just running around and dying all the time. I've never beat the game. I don't even think I found a dungeon, and I was just running around trying to kill everything, and I didn't understand what I was doing, but that was my introduction to Zelda. And I remember my brother got really far, and the only way he got there was because uh, he was able to like hear the rumors on the playground, or had like a
Mhm,
notebook of like all like, oh, this is what I have to
mhm,
do. Okay. And then buying, like guides or manuals or whatever on
mhm.
it just to figure it out, because this game has no hand holding whatsoever.
No.
No
No, it
clues
doesn't.
even.
No, it doesn't, and it's definitely a game of its time, and I think, for me, the first experience the first Zelda I played was this one, was
Hmm.
for one on the NES, and I will always remember that gold cartridge. I remember going into KB Toys at the Parks Mall, and that gold cartridge was there, and I remember it being, like, a really kind of, like, big selling point.
Hmm.
I don't remember when I got it. I I was trying to remember this, but I think I might have got it because I, finagled my mom into getting it for me as, like, because I did well on, like, a
But the
report
only
card or
reason why you
something like
wanted it
that.
was because it's gold.
Yes, exactly. I had no idea. I don't think we were subscribed to I subscribed to Nintendo Power, but I don't think I was subscribed to it yet. And Nintendo Power was basically just marketing to get us to buy all these games, right?
Yeah.
But, so it was just this, like, weird gold game that had come out, and I had heard, as you say, a couple of people on the playground talking about it, as you do as kids. But, it was just something that, kind of came into to my life. Just like you though, Mike, I have a vague memory of starting it and thinking like, "This game sucks." Like, I don't know what it is, like, I don't know what to do. It felt like it was I was just that little bit too young for it when it came out.
Yeah.
But then I eventually so it wasn't the first game that it was the first game I played, it wasn't the first one I beat. The first one I beat
Mhm.
was A Link to the Past, but eventually I came back to it and kind of understood it and, played through it with my friend, as kids and stuff. It was great. Yeah,
The
really
first
cool.
Zelda game I think I've ever beat from start to finish. Oh my god. I think the first game I've ever beat was Breath of the Wild. I don't think I've ever beat a Zelda game. Or, what's the one? Link's Awakening. I'd beat that. So, yeah. Oh, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, I remember my best friend at the time growing up, Sean, he, he was, like, better at video games than I was. But I remember us, like, playing it together, and I watched him beat it because he was really good. So I had seen it come to an end and, fight Ganon and all that. And I'm sure we handed the controller off to each other and played, but I don't count that in my win bucket. Like, that was definitely Sean. Sean should take that win, but it was a while afterwards that, I finally played through it on my own and kind of, did all that.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's a game that's so important. I think it set so many templates for games to follow. Um, and I think, as I was reflecting on its importance in, like, not only gaming for me, but I think for, in general, I think, there was like, in that era when it came out, there was a lot of RPGs like, Dragon's Warrior and Final Fantasy and all that. And those were the more traditional, like, kill an enemy, get points, level up, etc., which I think probably wasn't something that a lot of mainstream people who wanted to just pick up a game and play would have taken to as easily, like, I feel like there's a bit
Yeah.
more of a barrier entry to them. And
It's
this was
kind of
just a
like this one is takes the RPG element, but
Mhm.
also takes the arcade element of fast pace and combines them.
Perfectly said, Mike. That's exactly what it is. So it's just that much more pick up and playable, and yeah, and just a lot more discoverable for people. So I think, by doing that, they actually probably help the RPG genre because people could have, like, a taster of it with Zelda, but then they, then go, "Ooh, I'm curious about these other ones. I'm curious about a Final Fantasy or Dragon Warrior," or what have
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
So
really important game. Yeah.
one thing I wanted to say about Zelda 1
Mm,
is it's just it was pioneering open world design, right? This is like
yeah.
one of the first games ever, and think about how crazy this is on the NES. Uh, it's an open world game. Like, what the hell? You can go anywhere you want, whenever you want, and uh, it was the blueprint for all future games like Elder
Mhm,
Scrolls, Grand Theft Auto, Breath of the Wild itself.
mhm.
It's just, I mean, it's tiny. And I even read that the NES couldn't even handle it can't handle how big this game was. And so the cartridge itself was like the first with like a battery just to take up the extra slack the NES couldn't handle. So like they worked together, the cartridge and the NES, to actually run this game. Isn't
I
that
think
crazy?
Yeah, I think there's a slight nuance to that, though, because I think my understanding is that the so I think the battery was the first time to help have a save on a game, right?
Save,
Because
yeah.
yeah, because there was, like usually it was, like, passwords like Metroid had or whatever, right? You had to write
Yeah.
the letters down and stuff. Um, I don't I didn't I wasn't aware about the size of the game. I don't know if the battery impacted that. My
I
understanding
have
is
it
that
right here,
battery.
actually. I have it right here. It says so
Okay.
not the battery. It says, use the NES's memory management controller, the MMC1, it's the chip,
Yeah. Yeah.
to create a world larger than the console's RAM. So
Right,
pushing
okay.
technical boundaries. So the chip in the cartridge is what worked with the console to make the world larger.
Exactly, yeah. That was, like, one of the starts of Nintendo not adding add-ons 'cause they had the Famicom disk system in Japan, and I believe this was released on the Famicom disk system in Japan, and that's why they had more space. It was like a floppy disk drive,
Oh.
and when they wanted to bring it over to the US, they didn't have that, so you're right, this chip, they created it so that they could expand the capabilities of what they couldn't achieve, by not having the Famicom disk system. So it was like total technology pushing forward, as you say, like adding the battery for a save system, the first game to ever do that, and then this chip that they used. It's really cool, actually.
It's
That they.
crazy.
It's wonderful. Yeah,
It's like let's not make a new console. Let's just try to do what we
yeah,
can to make this console work for what we
yeah.
need it to do. So
Love it.
and then like Nintendo still is very innovative with the technologically innovative with all their everything, every system they've came out with.
Hmm.
I think
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna take me down a rabbit hole for a second. I think even if it's not, like, technologically, like, pushing like, limits of
it's
what,
quirky
are the
though.
big graphics or whatever, they pivot
Yeah,
and they do something like the Wii where they're using motion control or whatever, right? So they're just really good at, taking all that stuff and turning it into helping either games expand or be more fun or all that kinda good stuff. Yeah.
or making little
Yeah.
quirky gadgets that could go along with your gameplay and just to add to the
Mhm.
experience.
Mhm. Yeah. That would be a fun, episode to do once, like, all the quirky gadgets that Nintendo has put onto games.
Yeah.
Put that in them. Let's do that one day. That would be fun. Can I build on some fun facts
Yes.
for this one? So I just did like quick like search for facts. And a lot of these I think most people know. One or two of them were new to me. So but you probably know all these too. But it was inspired by Shigeru Miyamoto like wanting to go like discover caves and stuff like that. It was like his
Hmm.
imaginary game that he would play in the forest and stuff. So that was where it came from.
In Kyoto.
Um, and yeah, definitely. Yep. There did you know that the sword, like, was originally they were supposed to start with it, but then Miyamoto decided to remove it and hide it in the cave to, like, force players to explore. Like, they thought that,
Hmm.
like, if he didn't have a way to make you think, "Oh, I need to go in here for something," then you might not build that in
Enjoy
as
the
your
game to
understanding and
begin.
play it. Yeah,
Yeah, that
exactly,
makes
so they
sense,
took it
but
away.
also rude because I'm just walking
Exactly.
around with a shield.
Well, and that's another thing. You can beat the whole game without ever picking up the first sword if you want to. Like, you never have to get
Oh.
that sword if you don't want to. You can use other weapons and stuff. It's crazy. Um, the original concept of the game was supposed to be more sci-fi. So Link was supposed to be a time traveler between like a medieval past and a futuristic world. And then the Triforce was actually going to be microchips
Oh.
And yeah, and that's why he gets his name Link, because he was going to be a link between those worlds, but then
Oh.
also he still works because he's always the
But
link
it kind
between
of
all these
still
different
is a
Hyrules.
link if you
Yeah,
think about it
he is. He
with this crazy
definitely is.
timeline.
Yeah. Ooh, this one I haven't heard before. So the theme song was written in a single night. Koji Kondo, he planned to use Bolero by Maurice Ravel, but it was copyrighted, so he couldn't. The copyright hadn't expired yet, so he had to come up with something in the last minute to like come up with the music. Which, after a while, that
Which
gets
for
on your
us,
nerves.
it's just like, I mean, iconic.
Yeah,
So
definitely. We talked about the battery. There was, you know how when you beat the game, you can go into like the second quest where they like remix where
and things
everything
mix
is.
around in the dungeon. I'm not doing that, but yes.
No, I am not doing that either. But that one was because the way that the game was laid out on the cartridge, and I guess this links back to your point around this new, more powerful chip, maybe as well, is there was leftover space. So they were like, well, let's not waste all this chip space. And Miyamoto got them to. He was like, well, just rearrange everything for a second quest just so we can use it all. They basically had half a memory left, so they were able to kind of cram in a
That's
whole second
cool.
quest.
And also, if you
Um,
think about it, because it did the second quest, many games after that all have. Once you beat it, there's now
yes.
a new thing to do in the future. Like afterwards, there's a second. You beat it again on hard mode, or beat it again on this
Mhm.
mode, or there's little new things to find.
Yeah, like that's bonkers when you think about it. Like
Mhm.
a need just to fill up some space on the cartridge has actually dictated a lot of like, expectations in gaming design,
Yeah,
right? So
and
such
added
funny.
replayability.
Mhm. Okay, a couple more before we get into the game itself. Do you know about the microphone bit on the original Famicom?
No.
So there's the pole voice enemies. Those are like the ones that look like rabbits that bounce around in certain dungeons with the
Yeah.
whiskers. Well, in the booklet, in the instruction booklet, it says they're
I
scared
do.
of noises,
I have heard
or
of this. Yeah.
yeah. So you were supposed to shout at them, and then they would like either freeze or something like that. I don't know what would happen, but couldn't happen in the Western release because obviously,
Does the
yeah,
flute work to stop them? No, the flute
no,
doesn't. So you would think,
no,
but that would be the thing.
yeah. Maybe they could have done that. I don't know why they didn't do that, but you're right.
Yeah.
You would be sat there thinking like if you were reading the manual, like, "Oh, I'll
Hmm.
just play my flute," and you're like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Um, yeah, so that didn't you couldn't do that one. And then one more bit about the way it's laid out. So if you fit all the dungeon maps on the first quest together, they form a perfect rectangle. So the layout was designed to maximize the limited space on the NES cartridge. So
Okay.
like you can take all the shapes of them and put them in like a puzzle and they fit into a perfect rectangle. So
Gotcha.
isn't that fun? There you go. Little fun facts about Zelda. NES Zelda. Quite cool. Um, any other facts about Zelda?
Also, Zelda was the name for it came from the author of The Great Gatsby's wife. Her name was
Mm-hmm.
Zelda, and the creator thought it was like, oh, that's a really cool name and beautiful and mysterious, and I love it. Let's use Zelda or whatever.
Yeah.
Enchanting name.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter. He named her after the game because
Oh,
he
cool.
loved the game so much. So yeah. God, what a great name to get. Thinking like I am named after one of the greatest video games of all time. Like that's
When
just
I was a child,
cool.
I thought Zelda was the boy, the main
Oh,
character.
100%, 100%. Yeah. And I think I even named him Zelda, and not Link. Like I just didn't put two and two together or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Well,
cool.
children are dumb, so I
Yep.
was.
And I don't know if I've grown out of being dumb. So,
No,
maybe I'm
never.
just dumb, still dumb to this day. All right, let's get into it. Like, let's talk about
Yeah.
our playthrough of the game. Yeah, let's start. Let's talk about things like story, gameplay, mechanics, all that kind of good stuff. But let's start with the story. Yeah, you were saying in our prep for
Lack
this
thereof.
the lack thereof, right? Yeah,
There's
I
a,
think.
yeah, there's you're just thrown into this world not knowing what's going on. and you
Mhm.
have no idea what you're supposed to be doing. You just know that people are or things are trying to attack you,
Mhm.
and you kind of just create the story in your mind. And I think I'm not sure. I can't. I mean, I wasn't old enough to even know how to read, but like the manual that came with the game,
Mhm.
did it? It explained a little bit of lore,
Yes.
right? So,
Oh, it loads, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you can go online and see the whole manual. I've
I
looked
mean, I
at it.
remember
It's yeah.
manuals being thick back then.
Mhm. Yeah. And interestingly, not only did it, like, give you the whole story to, like, fill in the gaps, as you said,
Hmm.
but it would, like manuals at the time were, like, full on, spoiler alerts, right? They would be like, "You're gonna go
Oh,
through this dungeon. Here's how you find it. Here's the item you're gonna get. Here's the boss you're gonna fight. This is how you do it." So it was, like, actually just literally telling you everything in the game.
but this
Um
one didn't, right?
no, it did. It
Oh,
100%
it
did.
did.
Yeah. It came with
Okay.
a full out, like, full on map that you could unfold so you could see it, like, so you could
Okay.
see all the different areas. And it came obviously with the background of the story, like, the Triforce being broke up into 8 pieces and that you need to and it introduced Impa, from the Sheikah of
Hmm.
later who became the Sheikah clan. It introduced Impa that gave Link the,
So,
responsibility to
but it
go out
was
and save
only
the
in the
quest and
manual.
only
She
in the
was only in the
manual.
manual. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, wait, but I think Impa's the woman who gives you the sword at the beginning. I think so.
No, the guy gives
Maybe.
you the sword in the beginning, right?
Is it a man? Is
I
the
thought it
old
was a
man?
man. Yeah, and then later there's an old
Yes.
woman
Yeah, who does all the
who
medicine
gives.
stuff,
Who?
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I don't know, maybe yeah, maybe she was just in the manual then, maybe she wasn't actually in the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, it tells you all that stuff. It tells you, like, how you need to go be set on your adventure. You're going to the woods, you're going to the desert, you're going to the, graveyards. And it's really fascinating. If you haven't read it, like, go take a minute to, like, look it up. You'll be surprised about how much it actually tells you,
Okay.
about all that stuff. It's really fascinating.
Also, I like that it's like so the old man and the woman are the only people who really speak to you, right?
Mhm.
So, and then Zelda at the very end, I guess. But I love how Link is a silent hero, and so you kind of it gives you that
Mhm.
immersion to kind of like just make your own story. Like, okay, I'm him. I am my thoughts, or they're answering what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's kind of cool. And then it's stuck that way throughout all the years as well.
Yeah. I love that you point that out because I think that's one of my favorite parts about the franchise is just the fact that everyone feels like they're Link, right?
Hmm.
You can put yourself in his shoes. And I know there's like what are they gonna do in the film in terms of making us speak? They're gonna have to, but I don't think they're gonna try and
Well,
replicate the game
because
experience, but
yeah, he has to speak because if you think
yeah.
about it, we are Link, and so whatever we say is what he what
Mhm.
how do I explain that? What we think and say is what we're saying because we are Link. So he can't
Yes,
speak because we speak for him. And then in
exactly.
the movie, he's him, so he has to say something.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ha!
Or the way he got the noise he makes when he gets hit in the original.
Mhm. I
It's
think I think in Skyward Sword is the only one he actually says "Come on" or something like that.
okay.
But that's the only
Uh,
thing.
I can't remember. I can't remember. Oh gosh, Skyward Sword. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that
We're
one.
getting there.
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, and I think that so this is a game of its time, and we've talked about how much we love manuals in the past, but this is a game that you absolutely needed the manual to read through and like really fill in the gaps. Um, but I also like that, as you were talking about a bit earlier, you just are set off on your path and you're
Hmm.
just roaming around, checking shit out and figuring things out and like feeling like you're going through all these different places in this, uh, it's just so magical, but it doesn't say anything in a way, right? Even just playing
Yeah.
the game on its own, it felt really just, enchanting and exciting. So it's just they just nailed it. They really nailed it.
Playing
I don't
this
know.
game as an adult is so much better, and I really enjoyed it, and I do not know how I would have ever beat it without save states and without a
Mm,
guide.
yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I played it on the NSO app, and I completely used a guide just because I was like, I don't have time to, go through everything, and I'm not really bothered about feeling
Yeah.
like I did it the perfect way. I just want to experience the games again and talk about them.
Mhm.
But I'm surprised how much I actually remembered, like,
That's
even
good.
to the point of, like, where to, like, burn a bush to get to open up a trap door or something,
Yeah.
and I was like, I know there's one here somewhere in this square that I'm in. And that's just, like, from playing it a bazillion times as a kid and, what have you. So that's I don't know what that says about my brain, but it's or maybe that just says it's really good game design and it's memorable. I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
that
for
one.
sure. Absolutely.
Uh, yeah. So speaking of the game itself, you said it was truly open world. I mean, did you I want to talk about that for a minute. Did you like is that an aspect that you enjoyed about this game, or was it something maybe you were like, "Oh, a bit more guidance maybe could be useful."
What's crazy is I didn't even know it was open world until this replay. Because you said it to me and I'm like, "Oh my god, it really is." And because I've never beat it as a kid, I just kinda, like, wandered around and died. And so, like, playing it again, I said revisiting it, I'm like, "Oh my god, it really is truly open world." Granted, it's not a huge open world, but it is an open world.
Mhm.
And I loved it. I love the fact that it's like that, and if you have no idea what you're doing, though, it could be kind of daunting and, what's it called? Just annoying to play if you have no
Yeah.
idea what you're doing.
Yeah. I think I think the open worldness of it works in this game really well because it's not so big, right? Like, in my mind for some reason, I thought this world was so big as a kid. I just thought it was endless, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got to go to this part of the map. It's going to take me forever. I don't know why it just gave me the sense of it being like this vast, huge space, but I was surprised at actually how condensed it is,
Mhm.
in this playthrough. So I think given the fact that it is condensed and, it it wasn't I didn't need that much guidance this time around. I mean, yes, I did use a guide, but very quickly I was able to connect the dots in my head of going like, "Oh yeah, now I know the quickest path to get somewhere." Now that I've been, going back and forth all across the world.
Mhm.
So I think it really works for this game. I think because of the size of it, it's not overwhelming. And I never really got lost. I mean, minus like the, you know,
You
lost
kinda
woods or
just
whatever
remembered,
and
like,
stuff like that.
"Okay, I remember seeing that heart on, like, like,
Uh-huh.
across in the ocean, like, okay, I gotta go back over there because now I have a raft, and that makes sense." And so do, 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 and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you so, yeah, I kind of explored or walked all around just to kinda, like, get my bearings, and then
Mhm.
I said, "Okay, I'm done with this." I looked up a guide, I'm like, "Okay, what do I do next?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool way to do it. And I think you make a good point about it be like it's not so big that you don't forget where those things are that
Mhm.
you go, "Oh, I can't do that right now, but I'll remember it when I need to," kind of thing,
Exactly.
right? So, and the open worldness of it all, I quickly rediscovered the blue ring really, really fast just because of
Oh,
my exploration. Where it's up in that corner where there's the kind of like, uh, horse people. What are they called?
the lion or
Monitors. Minotaur. Oh gosh.
they start with
What's
an
the,
L.
um, oh, Lionels? Were they
Lionels, yeah.
Lionels? Oh,
They're
they're Lionels from
Lionels,
this game?
yeah.
Oh, sick. Yeah, they are Lionels. Duh. Yeah, there's that, group of Lionels you need to get through. Is it Lionels? No, no, no,
Lionels.
is it
They're
Lionels? Okay.
yeah, the blue and the red ones.
Uh-huh. But I can't no, but I think the blue ring is actually not necessarily surrounded by Lionels. It's surrounded by the ones that dig into the ground and come up, the blue ones.
Oh, yeah, the spinny
Um,
things. I call
the
them
spin
spinny things.
blue spinny doodads. Anyways, I just love that, like, because of that open world nature, this game, just you can quickly find these secrets that are super helpful. So it teaches you, going back to that, fact we were saying about, take the sword away to make the player go into the
The
first door to
caves.
discover
Yeah.
something. You go, ooh, secrets. This is interesting. If I go into
Mhm.
these spaces, it gets your mind into thinking
So
that
it
way.
just makes you want to explore.
Totally. Yeah, it makes it a fun part of the game. Yeah.
It's
Um,
joy and frustrating.
oh,
Joyful and frustration.
yeah. One of that part of exploring though, I think, and I obviously didn't have a problem with it this time because I just looked up a guide, but, like, the whole, like, bit about the lost woods and the direction you would have to go, like, left, down, right,
Oh,
left, up,
yeah.
or whatever to, like, work your way through it. Could you imagine at the time, like, how annoying that would be? You'd be like, "What the hell is going on here?" Like,
Yeah, it's
what yeah, it's just that's another aspect of this game that's part of its time because you think like, "Well, how are you supposed to know that if you don't have a guide? If you don't, like, know where to look?" You'll just be, like, going like, "Why is this repeating? Is this game broken?"
yeah. You're just like, "I'm
Mhm.
keeping going up, and I'm seeing the same thing over and over." It's too much. But, yeah, thank God for the guide, thank God for save states. Without it, I have no idea what I would have never completed it.
Yeah. No, exactly, and I was unashamed of using the
However
save states, yeah.
However, dungeon design, I think, was great,
Mhm.
in these games. Finding the dungeons is another whole 'nother animal, but, once I
Yeah.
was in the dungeon, I actually didn't really need, like, the guide for it. I kinda just
Mhm.
was able to do the dungeon myself.
Yeah.
I did have to go back to a dungeon because I looked at the guide and it was like, "You have to get the flute or something." Like, "Oh,
Yes.
I didn't find that," but other than that, like the raft or the flute or the whatever else you can find and the candle,
Mhm.
um without the guide, I wouldn't have found 1 or 2 of those, so but in itself, the dungeons were intuitive, and I found those the most enjoyable part of the game.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And, I think I did. The only one I used a guide on was the last one because I knew within it there was so many spaces that you didn't need to go to.
Mhm,
And I was
and
like,
all the enemies you've already encountered, you're like, "I can't beat all of them again."
yeah, it's like the original boss rush mode, right? Of like
Yeah.
all of them coming through. Which was fun. I enjoyed that as part of like the game experience, but I was like, "Do you know what? I know this dungeon from previous playthroughs that I'm like, I just show me the way to go. I don't need to prove nothing anymore."
Mhm.
But I think you're right. For most of them, um, barring Dungeon 6, I believe was the one I really hated this time. They were super intuitive, and it was actually kind of fun not to use a guide for them and
Yeah.
explore it and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
And then when I looked at one of the dungeons, I think it was dungeon 2, I'm like, "Oh my god, is this like a swastika?" I said, "This is horrible, by the way." And they called it something else, but I said, I don't feel comfortable in this dungeon. I wanna get out of here ASAP."
Yes, it was, because that was something a character in, like, Japanese culture that wasn't I don't think that, it wasn't as taboo as it could have been in
Yeah.
Western culture,
Okay.
and it was that, and they called it hold on, I've got it here, oh, what is it? Because each dungeon is named after, like, eagle or
An animal
moon
or
or an
something, yeah.
animal, yeah. So what was that one called? It was called Manji, but
Manji.
I think that's like a symbol in Japanese or something. That's like number 3 or
Okay.
something. So it's yeah, definitely not the same thing, but, yeah, yeah,
Well, we're
probably
just
interesting.
gonna, let that one go for today.
Exactly. You make a point though about the dungeons in this game in that you could miss an item, right? So, like, could you imagine playing this game, like, so for example, in the first dungeon, you don't have to get the boomerang. Like you could just miss it and go straight to the
Mhm.
boss and then, not
Oh,
have
but I
this.
love the boomerang. It was
Oh,
my
I love it
favorite
so
thing to
much.
use. The
So good.
arrows, I didn't even use except when I had to use it, but
I did yeah, I want to talk about the arrows in a second, but the boomerang and how like good it was to like
to
fastly
get
flick it
items and
to get items and like but it was directional, right? So it was a really clever
yeah.
thing. So you could like
And you can actually
flick it up
send
to the
it
like yeah,
diagonally, which I thought
yes.
was kinda cool.
So good. It was such a useful tool, but the fact that they were so, like, okay with going like, "Well, if you don't find it, you don't find it, and, what are you gonna do?" So it just boggles the mind, when we think about a lot of people compare Breath of the Wild to this one because of that, like, Link to it being, like, the very first open world experience again, and, you know, I can absolutely imagine if we could go back to 1987 when it was released in the US, like, us talking about it on the playground, like, you would speak to your friends and they'd go, "Oh, I found this," and you'd be like, "What? I didn't see
What?
that. Like, where did
There's
you
a
go get that?" Or
boomerang?
like yeah, exactly. It's like, what a cool thing, for the designers to, like, just go, "Okay, we're gonna trust you and let you get on with it." But then equally, as you said, like, you could have come across something where you go like, "Oh, I didn't get the candle or the flute," and you can't actually progress. So then
Yeah.
you're going oh, well, what thing do I have to go back to find?
Yeah,
So
and the flute, just talk about that. There's this one spot, like, you're at in the desert area on the very top,
mhm.
you're like, "What do I do here? There's nothing like, I don't know what to do." And if you didn't think about just blowing your flute, because
Yep,
you've blown the flute before and it just takes you somewhere random,
yep,
and you're like, "Wait, if you blow your flute, then the sand goes down, then you get to that dungeon," which
yeah,
I'm like, "What?"
uh-huh.
Um, but you don't have I guess you don't have to complete that dungeon in order to beat the to save Zelda, right?
Oh, n no, you have to
Oh,
because you
you
have to
do
get
have
all the
to?
Triforce pieces, yeah, you
Oh,
have
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah, never
Mhm,
mind. And so,
yeah.
like, that's that I mean, then I would just not uninstall, but I would just, like, pull out the cartridge, be like, "I'm done with this game, I have no idea what to do now." And then also,
Yeah,
the way you face your direction and then blow the flute will take you a certain way as well,
mhm,
which I thought
yeah,
it's just the amount of thought put into this game without telling you what to do
mhm,
is amazing.
yeah. I mean, again, in the instruction booklet, it tells you things like, "Use the flute to discover hidden secrets," or whatever, right? But,
Mhm.
so there is enough if you're playing it with the instruction booklet there that you could maybe kind of figure that out, but there's no clue, like, to get into dungeon 7, you hear, you discover, like, you would run into that old wise man every once in a while in particular dungeons,
He's
right?
like,
And you would get a
"Behind a
random
waterfall."
exactly, right? You'd get a random clue that you don't even know when to use it yet. So you'd either have to, like, be really good at taking notes and all that kinda stuff, but, you know,
I remember the note
yeah.
section in the back of manuals.
Uh-huh.
There
Yeah.
was like 4 or 5 pages, like, "Okay."
Um, yeah, so I think, great the dungeons design's great, the overworld design, lots of fun, just so much fun exploring it. How did you feel about, like, actual the fighting and the fighting mechanics and the enemies and the boss fights and stuff?
Once I got my, bearings, I guess you'd say, like, there's, like, a rhythm to it. So,
Mhm.
uh, I couldn't it was so frustrating. I wish I could have had my sword, my master sword that would shoot, like, full health.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I wish it was, like, it didn't leave you until you lost, like, 2 hearts or 3 hearts because
Yeah.
1 hit, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Mhm.
impossible." And then I watch people's, like, speed runs or playthroughs of it, and they don't get hit 1 time. I'm like, "Screw you."
I mean, they are so good. And now you mentioned that I wanna, like, sidebar, I wanna go look up, like, speed runs of, like, no bombs run or
Oh
no, like,
god.
boomerang run or something like that. They'll
That's
have
just
all of that,
torture
like
because, like, it took me I think I casually playing it took me 3 days to beat, but
okay.
I probably could have beat it in 1 day if
Mm,
I was just I think it took me a total of
yeah,
6 hours maybe,
yeah.
but, um, yeah, I just casually playing it, it took me about 3 days, I finished it, but I did
Mhm.
thoroughly enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah, the first 4 dungeons, I think I got through those really quickly in, like, maybe, like, an hour and a half, like, just, like, go, go, go. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna plow through this game really quickly." Then it does ramp up in terms of difficulty,
Mhm.
with, like, the enemies and stuff, but, I knew well enough to, like, get all the hearts and, level up Link first before going to all those places, so I kind of, you know, b managed to kinda keep the difficulty level down. Um,
But
I did
I did 100% it. I did 100% it
Oh, did
because
you?
I wanted
Okay,
to get everything, yeah.
nice.
But not number 2,
Um
not the 2nd round, not doing the 2nd.
No, no, oh, the Master Quest.
Master Quest.
I think that there's something about the way that, there isn't a lot of mobility with Link, right? Like, he can move really quick, but he really can only, like, go on, like, a cardinal direction, right? There was no
Mhm.
diagonal yet
No.
for him. So, like, you would either, so the challenge in the gameplay wasn't necessarily that it was hard enemies, but it's just that they move so quick that you can't move in a direction fast enough to kind of keep up with them. So
Yeah.
it was more about how agile can you be at running around the screen rather than, oh, it's actually hard to fight these enemies.
Yeah.
And his little, like, dinky dink sword was, like, it caused a layer of challenge, which was, I like that they built it in like that. But you did feel like a total badass when you had your, like, your shooting sword that would, like, shoot
Mhm.
across the room and stuff. But the one enemies that I really, really hated, there were 2 that I couldn't stand that it, like, got me to the point where I was like, "Oh, what? This is just so stupid."
Tell me one of them is a wizard.
Oh, the worst. when they were it's Dungeon 7 when
They're
they
like,
were, like,
"Oh."
or 6, I think, sorry, when they're just, like, shouting at you every room you
Ugh,
go in, and every room is dark, so not only do you have to, like oh, and there was
yeah,
the blue
ugh,
ones that would, like, follow you and, like, teleport and stuff like that. It was
so
just so
annoying.
irritating. Um,
What
and
was the
then the
other
other
one?
one was they were Lionels, but they were the ones that were in, no, the knights, not Lionels. They were knights inside
Oh,
dungeons
yeah.
where there were the
Those were
blue ones that
annoying.
would, like
They
'cause you
would
had to
like,
be
you think you're about to sneak up on their back, they turn
Uh-huh.
right around, and you're
They
like,
were
"Ugh."
so hard, yeah. But those I didn't mind as much, I just had to learn to get good, I guess, but the wizards, they were just horrible. I thought
The
that was a real
wizards had,
cheap
like,
shot.
no rhyme or reason to where they would go
Yeah.
sometimes, and that was annoying.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, same with the those knights. They were,
Mhm.
very annoying.
And I think the reason I bring them up is because, the thing about those is I found those harder than boss fights, right? Most of the
The
boss
boss
fights, I
fights
would
were
just go
so
in and be like,
easy.
"Yeah, they were so easy."
There's one fight I had trouble with, and it was the dragon head, but, like, further down the line where there was,
Uh-huh.
like, 5 of them or 4 of them. I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
gosh," that one was I had a save state every second. After I killed this head, I save state and then keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, there was, the one that I loved that, not that I sorry, not the one that I loved, but the one that,
You laugh.
I remember, like, playing from when I was a kid, and I just thought it was so cool. I loved the, Gora the crab one that became the, kind of in the later games, it's like
The
a
eyeball?
Goron yeah, the spider with the eyeball. I just thought it was so cool as a kid, it just really stuck into my head as, like, this, like, spider crab going around and,
Yeah.
like, you had to get it when its eyes open and stuff. I just thought that was really cool. Um,
That's the one I
and
used the
then
arrow for, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then I also loved the Dodongagons, the Triceratops ones that you had to put the bombs in the mouth.
Oh god, that
Um,
was annoying.
yeah, cause that was shitty because, like, sometimes you'd run out of bombs, and so it wasn't like I was stuck with doing anything. I just had to go around and either, like, get enough
You had to leave
coins
the
to
dungeon and get more bombs and
Mhm, yeah,
so,
um,
yeah.
and you mentioned the bow and arrow a bit earlier, but so I hadn't clocked because I had, like, loads of coins, but I hadn't clocked that the bow and arrow is like I was like, "Oh, this is unlimited." Like, "Oh, you got it finally, it's unlimited." And I was like, "Why am I running out?" I completely forgot it was tied to your
To your
coins.
rupees.
What a weird thing to do.
I was like, "Oh my god," every time I shoot an arrow, it's a rupee lost, and I said, "I
Mhm.
need my rupees because I need to get more health, and I need to
Yep.
get more this, more that, and
Mhm.
more." And thank God for those red, containers or whatever,
Yes.
I said, "Those are the only way I got through some of those dungeons."
Yeah. Oh, totally, yeah. And I don't mind it though. I think it didn't feel cheap. It just felt like go stock up, go
Mhm.
get yourself ready. If you need to use your arrows, go get your coins. And then you feel like, okay, I'm ready to go in this dungeon. I'm ready to go through. And then
Yeah,
you beat
and
it and there was a lot of satisfaction.
there's a lot of going back into the overworld and farming, basically. Farming
Yes.
rupees, getting
Yeah.
this, getting that, and then
Mhm.
saying, "Okay, I'm ready."
Mhm. It was great. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the puzzle structure of this game. Like, it's very much like a key and lock kind of puzzle thing. You gotta find a
Mhm.
key in one place, open the door,
Well,
and all
then
that
when you
stuff.
found the skeleton key, I was like,
Yeah.
"You can get this really early in the game if you really wanted to."
Uh, oh, yeah, yeah, I guess you could, I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, and
Like,
then you never need a key again. I think
yeah,
after, like, dungeon 2 or 3, I think or maybe it was 4, like, you can go skip and then go straight to that one and get the key, which I
th
didn't. I watched a video later where he gets it early.
and
I was
then
like,
you're
"Oh."
just like, "Yeah, that's clever." But then what's interesting is, I was like, you can use a key in any dungeon in this one, which is
Mhm.
great because then, like, I I was like, "Why do I have so many extra keys?" And I was like,
'Cause
"Great, I'm just gonna be like,
you could bomb a wall and not
uh"
use a key sometimes and have an
Yeah.
extra key.
Yeah, even buy keys in this game, couldn't you? Isn't there a place where you could go in and
Oh,
buy
I
a
have no
key?
idea.
I think you
I didn't
can
find
buy
that.
keys. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure
Oh, I
there's
think
a
the
shop soon.
shopkeeper, there
Yeah,
was one time he showed a key or maybe but I never bought a key, that was a
I never
waste.
bought a key, yeah, and I find that really interesting. It's like, I guess they had to do a workaround for, you know, eh,
If you can't
allowing
find the
this
keys, then here's a way you can get them.
exactly, yeah. I wish they would've, done that more with drop more bombs or whatever and had more extra bombs because that was like the one item that I was like always
Oh
struggling
God.
to like get and have. And I was like, I'm not paying for them. I'm just gonna get them out of a character. I was so cheap. I'm so ridiculous.
You're like, I need to use
um
my arrows.
mhm. But then all the other puzzles for this one, things like, pushing blocks, that's where this was introduced. That's been used
Yeah.
in pretty much every Zelda game from going in here on out. So, the key system is in pretty much every Zelda game. Um, interestingly, there weren't like treasure chests in this game, but you do find secret items that, are help you solve the puzzles. Like, weirdly, the raft allows you to travel up across water, but you need the ladder to cross like
A
gaps
stream.
of water, a strip of water. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. But the whole idea that you will discover an item, the sort of Metroidvania of it all, you'll discover an item, then you can use that to kind of open up new ways to traverse or use it to fight new enemies and level up and all that kind of stuff. It's such a nice gameplay loop where you then as a player of the game, you start to go, oh, I've got this candle, and then I don't know how you would think to know it's like, oh, I could burn. Can I burn bushes?
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, oh, there's all these other secrets, and I
And then you're
guarantee
like, oh wait, now
you,
I have to go back and burn everything.
yes, because I did. I remember as a kid, I would be like, okay, I'd kill the enemies and I'd try every bush to see if there was like something there. I was like determined to like find all the secrets. Yeah, really crazy. Um, yeah, what about the graphics, Mike? What did you think about the graphics of this game?
They're basic. I mean,
Yeah?
it's a product of its time. I don't think they were
Mhm.
ex- uh, any better than any other game in its time. Personally, I
No.
think I think it was creative and
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, it was fine. I wasn't. I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah, I think no, I mean, they were very, very early NES graphics, and, I think
I
when it
never struggled on wondering what the character was.
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, that looks like a bunny rabbit," and or
mhm,
that looks like a wizard, and
yeah,
obviously a skeleton, and that's obviously what I call a minotaur or a Lionel, and
Lionel,
so
yeah. Yeah, they were really clean, it was really, like, great use of
or centaur.
pixelation. um, I think one of the things that I was thinking about, and I don't know if this is necessarily directly related to graphics, but, like, so I remember 'cause all the like, most of the games on the NES before Zelda were kind of either were scrolling games left or right, or
Mhm.
like tile-based games, like you go into a room and then you finish it. But I don't remember, and I'm sure there was, but from me in my memory, I don't remember that sort of top-down nature of the game
Yeah, it
of
was
games like
different.
Zelda. Yeah, so it really just felt like, but really when you look at it, it's not that different. It's all flat, they're just like
Yeah,
allowing you to move at a different space. But it just felt really groundbreaking and different, in terms of helping you, you know, using a really simplistic graphic art form, but actually making the world feel bigger because you could go anywhere in that circle or that square of the plane of the game. um, not just staying at the bottom like Mario would do, right? You could go up into the left corner or the right corner. So it allowed that layout allowed that, freedom of movement to make it feel more open world, as you mentioned earlier, that being the first open world game.
yeah,
So I think, being able to do that with such simplistic graphics, very early on in the NES's life cycle, it's just
and make
phenomenal
it
what they achieved.
understandable, like your brain understands what you're looking at.
Yeah, for
I think it was
sure.
great. Great
I
game.
think so. Yeah, I think it's great. The music was really good. The overworld music, it kinda got to me after a while, like, it
Well,
because 'cause
I
you're
kinda
out there
muted
so
it.
long. Did you? Yeah, you turned it down? I loved the dungeon music, though. That one I could really get into. I just thought it was really, really good. Really good. Koji Kondo, great, like, yeah, as we said, he came up with that, like, but to be able to come up with that, like, the night before, you've gotta, like, do it. God, I wish I was really clever like most people, but Unfortunately. Unfortunately, I'm just good looking. What? Tell me lies. Tell me lies. So
Tell me
Mike,
sweet
question
little
to you.
lies.
Question to you.
What's that?
It does this game still hold up today as a Zelda game that because it's so referential, people laud it as this game changing game. But does it still hold up today in your opinion?
Without a guide, no.
Mm,
With a guide, yes.
yeah.
I think it's essential to know your roots and to enjoy to s- to think about like how basic and yet complex it is at the same time. And
Hmm.
so I think it's definitely deserves another playthrough. If you've never played it, try it out and realize how frustrating we had to things kids used to go through, and why parents were like, oh, they're just gonna fry their brains when in front of the TV playing a game all day. And if anything, this made you better and smarter and problem solve and was
Hmm.
really like I don't know, just it helped. I think it actually helped a lot of people because
Hmm.
without these kind of games, like, okay, there has to be another way I can do this, and just life in general, it kind of helps you with problem solving.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I would say I agree with you. I think if for listeners out there, if you've never played the Legend of Zelda before, definitely do your homework, as Mike said. Go back to your roots and check it out. Use a guide. Use your save states. I mean, you could probably get through this game without using save states. Save states. I think it's designed really well if you want to like have a bit more of an
sometimes
authentic.
you need to die so you can just get all your health back.
Exactly, yeah. And, I think the game you could definitely do without save states, right? It might take you a little bit longer, it'll be a little bit more challenging, but the game is designed in a way that it doesn't feel like it's like bad design. It's just, you've gotta take the challenge that it's presenting for you and, d get figure it out. But definitely, needing some sort of reference point or guide to help you figure out kind of some of the things that aren't really clear would be useful. But I think probably, Mike, if like if you're a gamer who's never played it, but like you kind of understand the language of video games,
Mhm.
you might be able to do this without a guide and stuff. You
I
could
think
probably
I think the
figure it
best
out.
way to do it is use the original manual, like you said,
Mm,
or all you need is a big map of the
yeah.
world and with like maybe little stars on it. Like there's
Hmm.
maps out there that show you, oh, this is where things are, and
Yeah.
then just go to town because you'll figure it out from there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like that idea of like pull up the manual online and use that to see as your starting point, and then you could probably go like, okay, yeah, I want to use a map or whatever, but like see what it gives you there. But um, yeah, great game. I just think and the gameplay for me still holds up. I thought it was so much fun. I
I
had a really
thoroughly
good
enjoyed
time.
it.
Yeah, I
I
really
thought
did.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Hmm. Because I definitely had played through it before, but it's been such a long time that since I played it with any kind of like that of course I remember a lot of stuff from it, but I'd forgotten a lot about it as well, and I just kept going like, "Oh yeah, this game's great. This game is really good." Yeah.
It's it started something and it literally continued it. It's still going. So
Well, it did start something, and the next game we're gonna talk about, Zelda 2, uh, mm, mm-mm. What
uh,
the hell happened?
So Zelda 2 combines the top down and the side scrolling. I am enjoying it. However, it is so hard. It is so hard and so frustrating. And uh, I can't wait to be done with it. I'm almost done. I'll be done either today or tomorrow. But it's just
Mhm.
I am enjoying it, but I want to get it over with. It's not my favorite game.
Hold those thoughts, Mike, because we've got an upcoming episode when we actually will break it down and do a deep dive about all of our thoughts on Zelda 2. A hard pivot from a great game, Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, then to Link's Adventure on Zelda 2. Yeah, oh God. Anyways, yeah. So I guess listeners, that's about it for this episode. Did you play Zelda? What do you think? Leave comments below. Are you a big fan of it like we are? And are you going to be joining us on this journey to play all of them? Please do. We'd love to hear your thoughts as we play throughout the games in chronological order. So get started and then drop your questions to us. You can do that by sending in an email to gamers@outofsyncgaming.co.uk. That's gamers@outofsyncgaming.co.uk. Where can people find us on socials, Mike?
Hi, yeah, you can find us on Discord, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Out of Sync Gaming.
Fantastic. And make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We have some fun news to say. We've surpassed 1,000 subscribers.
Oh,
That fun
yay!
little milestone for YouTube. We did it. We're big boys now, Mike. We're
You're big
big
boys.
boys.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
so much
So
for subscribing.
100%. Yeah, really, really pleased. Thank you all for joining us and subscribing. It means the world to us. And if you like this, share it with your friends. If you like what we're doing, share it with your friends so they can get in sync with Out of Sync and subscribe as well. It really helps get the word out there. Leave a comment, on the videos and stuff because that really helps with all the algorithm stuff. You know all those steps that you can do. Help us out. I think that's probably about it for now. So I guess until next time.
Play what you want to, especially Zelda.
But not Zelda 2. Ew. Bye.
Okay, bye.